Today I'm sharing 10 reasons why your Vietnam e-visa gets denied. I've lived in Vietnam over a year and a half and my visa has never been denied, but I do know people whose visa has been denied. I'm Sean, Queen of DC, full-time solo traveler. On this channel, I post my travel tips and adventures from around the world. If that's your vibe, subscribe. A friend told me about a mistake she made, something I've never considered. But it's a mistake you could easily make too, starting with one of the most common errors. Using the wrong passport number is a common mistake. This is for U.S. citizens. Avoid using the passport number on the bottom of your passport page. That serves a different purpose and it contains an additional number. I had no idea. The passport number is on the first page at the top. That is the travel passport number. So when she got to the border, her passport did not match her visa and she was denied entry. Be very careful if you have the same numbers, similar numbers. Count those numbers. I have one of the same numbers, so I'm always like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even though I know my passport number by heart, I go over it several times before I submit that application. Pay attention to how the dates are formatted, because in Vietnam, they use the date, month, and year. In the States, we use month, date, and year. When you're inputting your birthday, entry, and your exit dates, pay close attention to the format. Number 2, photo issues can lead to rejection. Make sure your photo meets the required dimensions. It's a JPEG. You can't wear your glasses, and make it an up-to-date photo. One guy said his visa was rejected because his photo was too big. Another guy said they told him his photo was outdated, but it was an up-to-date photo. He resent the photo and his application was accepted. Number 3, misunderstanding given name is another frequent error. Your given name includes your first and middle name exactly as is shown on your passport. I'm not just Sean. I have a middle name on my passport. My given name is my first and middle name exactly as is written on my passport. Number 4, double check your visa expiration date to make sure it's written correctly. Even a small error can cause problems. Number 5, be aware of entry date restrictions. You cannot enter Vietnam before the valid date listed on your visa. Number 6, forgetting an onward ticket can cause trouble. No one-way tickets here. You may be required to show proof that you have an onward ticket, meaning you are leaving their country. They don't care where you're going. You don't have to go home, but you got to get the heck out of there, okay? So you have to have a valid onward ticket. As of late, they have been asking for proof of my onward ticket when I enter Vietnam and when I'm leaving Vietnam. Number 7, don't delay processing your visa application. Apply 2 to 3 weeks in advance. Pay attention to the Vietnamese holidays. For example, it takes 4 days to process. Sometimes it takes longer. My visa has always taken 4 days to process. But if there's a holiday, it will be delayed. If your visa is rejected, it may take another 4 days to process. Give yourself time. You will not be allowed to get on that plane if your visa is processing. If you don't have that visa in hand, they are not going to let you on the plane. I don't care who you are. There was this lady, she was like, but my visa is processing. Ma'am, we can't do nothing for you. You cannot get on this plane, and they are strict about that. Or you will have to get an emergency visa that costs $435. That's crazy. Just give yourself enough time for your visa to process. Give yourself even more time for delays. I know a couple of people who didn't give themselves enough time for the processing of their visa, so they couldn't take the trip. And I met a British guy in Hanoi, and he said, I just made it. I thought it was going to take about 3 to 4 days. My visa took 7 days. I already had my ticket. I just kept checking, and he received the notification that it was approved hours before his flight. He said, I was just at the airport hoping it come through. Number 8, follow all visa instructions, especially if they require you to print your visa. It says to print, I'm printing my visa. And I've needed to print it because coming through the airport, my visa, before I get on that plane from Kuala Lumpur, was checked 4 times. And when I was coming from Bucharest, it was checked just as many times. They are not playing about giving entry to Vietnam. I follow the instructions. I have it printed. I think it says print 2 copies. I got 2 copies. I'm not playing with them. Failing to do so can result in airlines denying you boarding. Number 9. And a reminder, your passport must be valid for at least 6 months from your date of arrival. Number 10, never overstay your visa. If you do, you won't be able to leave the country until you resolve the overstay penalty. Vietnam does not play. Here's a bonus tip. Be mindful of the type of visa you select. There's a single entry visa for $25. There's a multiple entry visa for $50. Multiple entry is good for 90 days, and you can exit and enter the country within that visa time frame without applying for another visa. The single entry visa is good for 30 days. Make sure you select the correct visa for what you need. Avoid these common mistakes to ensure a smooth entry into Vietnam. If you have any suggestions or tips, leave them in the comments below. If you've gained value from this video, be sure to subscribe, like, and share the video with others. Vietnam is not playing about the visa checks. Before you can even check your bags, they check your documentations, check your visa for Vietnam. That's one person. Then you go through immigration in Malaysia, they check your visa for Vietnam. That's 2 people. Then you come up as you going to board. One person has to check your visa and passport and all that. That's 3 people. When you leave that person, you step to the right and go to the next person who's going to confirm that 3 other people looked at your visa correctly and confirm that you are allowed to enter and you legit. Honey, that's about 4 people checking your visas and you ain't even left Malaysia yet. Have your papers together if you're trying to go to Vietnam, okay? Until next time, y'all. Peace.